The Creepy Female Teacher Epidemic by Shoe0nHead.
Hello and welcome back to hell. Satan couldn't be here today, so I am filling in. A few months ago, I made a video about the creator of the Netflix show 12 Forever and her lust for 14-year-old boys. Guess who was in line to go on the Sizzler with us? This beautiful, androgynous, long black-haired, emo 14-year-old boy wearing tight black pants and a black t-shirt with the name of some band that probably sucks, and his lip-injected fake red-haired mother who looked like a washed-up rock star. Tony was nice enough to follow this poor boy around the small carnival with me as I tried to sneak photos.
Somebody call 911.
Oh God, if only his mom hadn't been there. But
I'm glad that his mom was there. I'm sorry, what? Like, this is just normal now? These are completely normal things for people to post online now. Wow. Okay. There's a lot to unpack with that, and a lot of that has to do with person needs to be admitted for some professional help. That this is none of this is okay.
Fuck, this was the best day ever. Why am I so creepy? Hashtag awful. Hashtag
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
But I had to take the video down because there was some misinformation in it. She actually was not fired. So I had to take the whole video down. That was the misinformation part.
How do you not get fired for that? Like, I guess I don't understand that. Like, okay, so workplace is supposed to have tolerance for stuff like that, right? Or for certain things. Like, it's how workplaces, you can have people from all different walks of life, all different beliefs. Like, the keyword is tolerance there. Nowhere is this okay, unless I somehow missed a giant memo in which we've somehow normalized this. This is not okay. And this is something that I feel gets oddly not enough attention in the, like, capacity of, like, shunning people. Like, for example, like, if I had a friend and they said this, I would turn them in so fast, it's not even funny. And that needs to be normalized. That is not normal for adults to say. This is not okay.
Now, in the comments of that video, and a quick reminder, I am always reading the comments. I'm always there, screen capping and saving the weird shit you say. I see all.
Too.
I'm watching you. I found this cursed comment. I'm gonna have to go against the grain here and say what she did was cute and completely harmless. This excessive obsession with hunting down pedophiles has become completely absurd in recent years.
So what this entire statement so far, is to try and insert a narrative here and also try to normalize it. These are problematic statements that happen, and this is not okay. It's like dog whistle sounds. Everyone who agrees with what this person did comes to the rescue and tries to be diplomatic and tries to be in the middle. You know, let's see the other side of it. Look, take it from somebody that tries to be reasonable in everything that I do. The amount of times in, say, firearm reaction content I do that I say, look, I don't want to get involved in this. I don't want to get involved in this. I'm here for education and safety. This is from someone that tries to come across as reasonable, in the middle, so to speak, right? There are some things that are just zero tolerance, and I think that that's been lost to time, right? Like how schools are supposed to have a zero tolerance for harassment and bullying, right? But the bully usually ends up getting protected, and the kid getting bullied ends up getting expelled or suspended, right? There are things that are zero tolerance. Once again, if I had a friend or someone I knew say this, I would turn them in so fast, and everyone that I knew would know exactly what they posted. That is how you force accountability for this.
Especially when it comes to female-on-male pedophilia, which honestly isn't a big deal 99% of the time. I still remember my friend and I asking these older college girls in their early 20s to give us a ride to the local pool, which was about a mile away, when we were 14. They said sure and let us get in the car. After we were in, they both turned around in their car seats and said, "You know that we're child predators, right?" And me and my friend both looked at each other and said, "Sounds good to me," in unison, which they laughed. Teenage boys want to get molested.
No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't.
By older girls.
No, they don't.
Believe me.
Okay, no, okay. That's a mental health thing. That is a mental health and education thing, 100% right there. That is not okay. So, there's nothing wrong with liking an older person. And what I'm saying this, there's a caveat to that. Nothing wrong with liking older person as long as everyone is a consenting adult. If you are under the age of 18, realistically, and like, I honestly say 21, 22, because there's just usually that gap. I say usually because there are people that know who are 18 that are way more mature than people that are in their 60s. It just depends, right? But reasonably under the age of 18, you just don't touch. No one anywhere can touch that. And yes, there's supposed to be Romeo and Juliet laws, but from my understanding, that's so that way. So you have two 17-year-olds, one levels up to 18, and then you get into a whole like, okay, well, technically that'd be illegal. So Romeo and Juliet laws do exist, but that's kind of a special exception. No, everything about this is no. It's lack of education, because imagine flipping the script, just using your critical thinking skills for 2 seconds, right? And how if the roles were swapped there, right? Say it was two teenage girls getting in with two 20-year-old dudes, right? How everyone would be begging for them to be canceled. How everyone would be saying, that's not wrong, and that feeds into the patriarchy, and, oh, all men are like this, right? No. That's not the case. You need to be holding everyone to that same standard, right? Whether you're male, whether you're female, whether you're non-binary, if you're going to make comments like that, if you're going to engage in these activities, you need to be held responsible. That's how we get through some of this. You cannot normalize some of that stuff. And there's the whole, I think, was it a 4chan board or something like that with maps, right? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to explain it. Like, and how they're trying to get it's no, that's not how that works. They're trying to get into certain groups, normalize it. No, that is not how that works. You need to be seeing professional help.
So let's get this out of the way. I doubt that happened. And second of all, what? Could you imagine?
Hashtag /never happened. Exactly.
Could you imagine someone saying teenage girls want to be molested and by older men?
Exactly.
Believe me. Yeah, a little weird. And it's weird that you even have to switch it for it to sound weird. Today we are going to be discussing the creepy double standard when it comes to female predators. How one of them is played off as a joke and a fantasy, and the other is rightfully condemned and shamed.
Yeah.
South Park famously did an amazing episode about this. Kyle's little baby brother was like dating his kindergarten teacher.
Yeah, Kyle and his teacher. Oh my god. Oh, that was an episode. That was fun.
And like nobody cared. Even the police were like,
Nice.
You always see articles like, teacher has sex with male student. Teacher sleeps with male student. Has sex with and sleeps are really funny ways to spell rape. And they almost always show like really hot photos of the teacher. Like sometimes they even show them in like their bikinis.
What? This needs to be replaced with the jumpsuit.
Could you imagine an article like this?
Yeah. Imagine, if you will, how quick that person would get canceled. How, like, someone would mail a pipe to their mailbox, right? What? No, do not glorify this.
It's an epidemic. Grown-ass teachers molesting and young boys.
No.
So we are going to take a look at some of these stories together. Brittany Zamora was bored, she allegedly told her class. The Arizona teacher, then just 27, had only joined the Goodyear school as a 6th grade teacher the year before. It was there, according to documents, that Zamora and the 13-year-old boy known as John Doe first connected.
Ew.
I'm bored, Zamora allegedly told the boy. I don't know about you, but when I'm bored, I like to watch movies, I like to go on Twitter. Brittany Zamora, she likes to molest 13-year-old boys.
Look, you're bored. Tinder exists for a reason. Have whatever commentary you want about modern dating and dating apps. Don't. No, I guess I'm a little harsh on this, to be fair, because I do know teachers in my life, right? I do have friends that are teachers, and I have zero tolerance for this. They have zero tolerance for this. You're going to take in the role as an educator, someone that people trust, and you're going to just take advantage of it. And it's going to be, whoops. We're taking a leaf out of South Park, right? We're sorry. We're sorry. No, you don't get to do that.
All have our hobbies. Zamora became more aggressive in her interactions with the 13-year-old. She openly flirted with John Doe during recess, according to multiple students. Recess! This boy has recess still! Okay,
Wild.
you have to get through this because there are so many articles like this. The first alleged full-on sexual encounter between Zamora and John Doe took place just after Valentine's Day. While the boy was staying at his grandparents' house, Zamora allegedly drove over in the middle of the night and the boy snuck out to meet her in her car. She allegedly returned the following night and they had sex.
Oh.
She said she wanted to give me a blowjob and my stuff was really big and stuff like that. When the interviewer asked to clarify what stuff meant, he whispered, penis. These are children! That is a thing a child would say! So he told a friend, because of course he told a friend, he's a 13-year-old boy, he's gonna be like, dude, I totally hit that. And then his friend said this. It's like weird how a 27-year-old can like love a 13-year-old and do stuff. It's just crazy.
Like, you have to understand that these are kids. They don't have cognizance. Like, obviously, yes, they're cognizant, I guess, right? Like, they can learn things. They can interact with the world around them. Hopefully engage in critical thinking skills. These are kids you're dealing with. And we're romanticizing and glorifying adults being kids effectively, trying to just... What does the world come to? I mean, I know this has always been around. Like, really, we have to consider. And since this video, like, we've had more of this happen. More and more all the time. I hate when I get these updates, because it's like, okay, how are you going to hold them accountable? And nothing ever happens.
Can, like, love each other. They don't love each other,
no,
sweetie. And then the friend said, she's not a good person.
Fact.
His mom then noticed that he was acting quiet, and he eventually came out to his parents, and his dad said this to the teacher. You're a child molester. Do you understand me? Based dad. Why do you say that?
Based dad.
Zamora answered. What?
Do we need she needs an explanation for this, really? Like, actually needs an explanation for this? This actually, like, makes me upset. No, like, I'm like, you go to if I went to a bar, right? If I went to a bar and I ended up, say, hooking up with somebody and I didn't check their ID and they ended up being 17, I'm guilty for that. That's why I check IDs and I talk to people, right? And if you're not, really, once again, if you're not like 22, 23-ish, I don't even think that we're going to see eye to eye on a lot of things because there's life experience that just isn't there yet. Like, do your 18, 19, 20-year-old, like, party, do your things, go to bars, meet people, whatever. I don't think we can necessarily have a conversation about things like the Epic of Gilgamesh, about modern macro and microeconomics, about the impact of theater from the 1600s and its impact on modern day entertainment, right? Things that I like to discuss in my off time and stuff, and things that I find interesting, not necessarily going to be there for a majority of 18, 19, 20-year-olds, right? Like, you need to be... There's a reason why adults need to be associating with other adults. And really, I've said this a number of times when it comes to, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff. I will play, say, Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon in a game shop setting, but I will be incredibly professional if I get paired up against someone who is, you know, a kid or a teenager, right? And then after the fact, if they're like, oh, hey, I want to talk, it's like, look, I appreciate you do. I'm not the person for this. You know, find that one cool teacher in your life and learn from them why they're a cool teacher, right? There is literally zero reason for me outside of a professional setting to ever interact with anyone under the age of 18. And that needs to be normalized. Oh, well, what if the teachers in their life are all bad? What if the parents don't care? Unfortunately, it's not my issue. Like, you know, if you need a resource, cool, here's your, you know, call a hotline, do what you need to, find a cool adult in your life. You know, there's no reason for me to ever be doing that. I will stick to interacting with 18 plus. Thank you very much.
At one point, Zamora's husband got on the phone. She has a husband.
Oh my
Imagine
God.
being the husband
Divorce.
in this scenario.
Divorce,
like,
right
it's
there.
one thing to find out your wife is having an affair with somebody, like, around your age. It's another thing to find out your wife is having an affair with a child. This is what he said. You ready for this cucked shit? Brittany has been a great teacher for a long time. 5 years. She's done so much for so many students. Yeah, I'm sure she has. She made a huge mistake.
So at that point, no, I don't know how that legally works. That's at very least being complicit in those activities. That is absolutely disgusting to me. Wow, Kip, you're really spicy this video. Look, I try to be on the fence about a lot of things. I try to be reasonable and rational. Stuff like this absolutely gets my blood boiling, and this needs to be like normalized as a discussion topic and vilified like it rightfully should be. This is not okay. Both of these, the husband and the wife, need to be admitted and seek some professionals like help. Like, this is absolutely just wrong. There is nothing correct about this.
Everybody makes mistakes. I've driven through a stop sign. I've made many typos. 2014.
No.
Just the whole year. Video recorded at the time shows Zamora sobbing as she tells police that she's worried about what might happen to her in jail. I'm little, she said. They're gonna tear me apart.
Yeah, they are. And honestly, I don't even have any sympathy for that. Have you considered not?
Wow, it's almost like you're small and vulnerable. Like a child.
Damn.
I can't with this bitch. So as time went on, the kid started getting depressed. He started to express different emotions. He's sad and he slept all day. It's starting to hit him, the reality of what actually happened.
It's almost like you're imposing yourself on a child's life. And it's going to have long-lasting repercussions and absolutely damage their mental health and self-esteem. It's almost like you were someone in their life that they trusted and looked up to and confided in. And they used and abused you. Man, what a novel concept. Why that would cause depression.
So at first, this kid was probably like, nice, yes. The reality of being a literal victim, as always with these cases, as you'll see as we go on, always catches up to them in the worst ways. Texas teacher had sex with her 8th grade English student on an almost daily basis, police say. Alexandria M. Vera, an English 8th grade teacher at Stovall Middle School in Houston, told police in April that the relationship she had with one of her students started through messages on Instagram and had evolved into a great love.
Honestly, I think so. I want to kind of dissect that because I think that's going to be a thing that a lot of people could hop on. Well, this is why this is happening. Social media has enabled this. Irresponsible social media use has enabled this. It's kind of like why I question all the time, like why you have politicians and stuff. Why do they have TikToks and Instagram? That just seems like super weird to me, especially because they are, making laws, passing legislation, etc. I don't know. It just seems weird to me. But I'm the only one that's really ever expressed that sentiment, I guess. It's okay for a teacher to have a TikTok. It's okay for a teacher to have an Instagram. However, you need to be curating that. I have a friend who's a teacher, and because it's the internet, right? I've told the story about how one of my bosses got a hold of an older TikTok that I had, and there's like, oh, well, we didn't know you were doing this, or I was surprised to get you. The algorithm literally effed me over in that situation, but obviously I didn't do anything, so I was scot-free, right? Summarize cliff notes of that. Yeah, though I have a teacher friend who has a social media account along the lines of TikTok, Instagram, etc., right? And they have students that reach out to them. They don't deal with them. And in fact, they've put out entire posts that are like, if you're a student of mine, if you're a minor, this is not the place for you. And then they'll proceed to talk about another stuff they do about history, historical facts, a number of other things, right? It's responsible social media use. If I have somebody that comes to me like, hey, Kip, I'm 13, I'm 16, how you doing? You need to leave respectfully, please. I can't control YouTube. What I can control is if you pop into the Discord and I find out you're underage, you will get one warning. And if you continue to FAFO, you will be banned. And that's how I deal with it. Because I feel that there's a number of other people. If you enjoy my content as a minor, cool, I guess. I can't stop you. And I hope that you at least have some critical thinking skills, or at least are questioning things, asking the whys to things. What needs to be normalized is proper and regulated, self-regulating social media usage, responsible social media usage, and just, anyone can send you a friend request. Anyone can reach out to you. You don't have to respond to everybody. You don't have to give everybody the time of day.
She stated that she and the boy had sex on almost a daily basis at her home, and they love each other. Lawson did not classify Vera as a traditional pedophile, but believes she was truly in love with the student.
Literally mental health issues. I don't even have to spell that out.
So she's a map. We got a map on her hand. In January, Vera said she discovered the boy had gotten her pregnant. When the couple told the boy's family, according to the teacher, they were ecstatic and supportive.
No!
8th grade.
No!
An 8th grade. Former teacher accused of having sex with Florida 8th grader. The 8th grade.
What is with dancing around the subject in this? Like, is it not to it's got to be not to vilify these assailants, right? This is really depressing as a trend.
Student told detectives that she would send him nude photos and would go to his home at night, picking him up at about 11 p.m. and bringing him back hours later. All of these, like, grown-ass women, like, picking up these little boys. Like, this kid can't even drive yet. Doesn't that, like, send off some kind of, like, signal in your mind that this is wrong? They can't even drive. Detectives said the teen told them that Peterson asked him not to tell anyone about their relationship or they would get into trouble. The teen also said that Peterson brought him marijuana and bowls for smoking it. He said that his grades suffered after the relationship started. Wait, so they're gonna bang and she's not even gonna give him better grades? Isn't that...
I shouldn't laugh at that. I should not laugh at that. God. Oh, that's rough.
That, like, always the thing? Like, oh, I'll give you an A. These pedos, man. An 8th grade instructor in Philadelphia has been charged with having sexual intercourse with a young student on more than 10 occasions. Sexual intercourse. The special education teacher had sex with her 14-year-old student several times at her home and in her car, the district attorney's office said. The encounters, which prosecutors say, were consensual.
Okay. Except minors can't consent legally, right? Are you gonna have a 14-year-old sign the joint paperwork for your auto loan? Are you gonna have a 14-year-old sign your HELOC loan? No, absolutely not. They can't consent. They're not a legal adult. They're not of the age of 18 or older. This is no different. See, there's a flaw in that logic there, and they're trying to, like, oh, well, this was totally consensual. That's literally not how that works. Okay, we have a special word for that. It begins with an R, which I will not say here because of YouTube. But no, there is a special word for this, and we need to call a spade a spade. This needs to be normalized in news reporting.
Ex-prep school coach admits pressuring teen boy for sex. A former swim coach at Malvern Prep pleaded guilty on Monday to pressuring a 16-year-old into a sexual relationship. Prosecutors say that Finney told the boy she would get him into Harvard in exchange for sex. Finney had been sending him inappropriate emails and text messages since 2014 when he was 16 years old. At one point, Finney kissed the boy, investigators say. The messages included a topless photo and other pictures of herself in various stages of undress. She also allegedly sent such messages as, "I adore you, always have, always will. If you ever cared about me, please don't shut me out. It's too painful." The victim told investigators he repeatedly told Finney to stop, saying, "I'm not interested in you. End of story. I'm 16. I'm not into you."
Imagine being in that situation, or don't imagine it, right? In that situation, these advances are getting rejected by this 16-year-old. First of all, what a Chad for actually, like, that is a, like, nice on rejecting that. How awful this teacher must feel, right? Like, trying to go after somebody smaller than them, more vulnerable than them, and try to worm their way into their head, right? And just to absolutely just get blocked. That's poetry right there. That is amazing.
Absolute Chad. Despite the teen's rejections, Finney continued her pursuit. Thirsty bitch. Telling him she could use her connections to get the teen into Harvard. In another message, Finney allegedly said, "If you'd just stop fighting and let it happen, you'd be a lot less uptight and much happier."
If I had the whistle sound effect, like an actual like whistle, like I would be playing that right now. Like that is all of that is red flags. Like in an adult setting, if an adult said that to me, that is an instant block. Like instant block, do not pass go. We are not having another conversation like ever. This will not happen. Now in this setting, that's where you get police. Well, police should be involved already.
Alleged.
We're not, yeah.
Alleged.
I can't. This is bad.
Alleged
No.
sex victim of teacher assistant. She bought me things. Teen who was the alleged sex victim
What
of
does
a
this even
former
mean?
Wake County teacher assistant told ABC Tuesday that she manipulated him. She would buy me clothes, give me cash, just all sorts of things. The next thing I know, like, one thing led to another, and I told her, like, before everything started, I'm like, you know I should wait till I'm 18. And she was like, no, that's alright. Don't nobody have to know about it.
As an adult, if somebody says nobody has to know, and nobody has to worry about it, don't tell anybody. As an adult, in an adult situation, this is a red flag. You look at everything surrounding this sentence. This is a huge red flag. In this setting, this is god awful.
The teen said he was too young to fully understand what was happening.
Yes.
I was 16 at the time. Who's not going to think that's cool? Oh, I'm sleeping with my teacher. I'm in high school. Who's not going to think that's cool? But, like, really, at the end of the day, it's really not, because now that I think about it, I realize I see the light, and she's a really sick individual.
Yes.
Former teacher pleads guilty to molesting
There it is.
a 14-year-old girl. So, now that it's a female teacher molesting a female student, suddenly the headline is molesting. Former Southern...
Interesting how that works, right? Interesting how you shift it just a little bit. Instead of being, what is it, heteronormative, right? MF, right? Now that it's FF. Interesting that the media doesn't look kindly on this, right? Very interesting.
California teacher pleaded guilty to child molestation. The criminal case is closed, but the victim's mother wants answers from the school district.
Yes.
Under the plea agreement, Zellinger will have to register as a sex offender, attend
Good.
classes for sex offenders, and is required to spend 120 days behind bars that will occur on weekends. Parents
This is when you get part of that funny little club that you have to tell all your neighbors about. This club's going to get larger and larger, unfortunately, because of people like this.
outraged over light sentence for Louisiana substitute teacher who had sex with students.
That's the
Parents
one.
are outraged after a substitute teacher charged with having sex with their children gets a plea deal. The woman won't serve jail time or register as a sex offender.
That has got to be the ultimate slap in the face. Like, as a parent, what do you even do in that situation where, say, a crime clearly happens, your child is going to have lasting emotional, and I don't mean this in the meme fashion, like a lasting emotional damage, lasting trauma, lasting depression, having potential lasting self-esteem issues. You have to watch your kid just knowing what happened to them, and that justice isn't served. And then obviously justice is subjective, all that stuff. But just, where's the closure in that? How do you just, how do you? I can't imagine being a parent and having somebody take advantage of your kid like that and just, oh, well, it's fine. It's normal. You have to understand it's not normal. No. And so, like, how do you hold someone accountable for that? Do you force accountability? If you force accountability, they can counter you with saying that you're slandering them, or that you're, oh, well, this case is closed. You can't bring this up again. Like, or try to sue you for harassment, right? Like, how is that even remotely fair when they're the ones that are the assailant here, when they're the ones that are the perpetrator? That isn't fair to really nobody. And it only perpetuates these issues because they get off scot-free. Because at that point, what are the consequences of doing it? Obviously, the consequences are, and should be, up to going to prison for a lengthy sentence of time, being removed from society, being a part of that club that you have to tell all your neighbors about. I've had friends that just say throw them in a wood chipper. No, I mean, legitimate, just drop in the middle of a conversation. Just do it. And I'm like, wow, that's quite the stance to have. Yeah, this is none of this is okay.
That means there's legally nothing from keeping her from teaching again.
Yes.
She was 30, they were 16 and 15, and she gets no jail time, and she doesn't have to register as a sex offender. Hell world. Teacher who drunkenly had sex.
Oh, look at this teacher. This teacher is the victim. She was drunk and she had she had, you know, just one thing led to another, you know, tipsy. You understand. First of all, why are you drinking with students? Isn't that itself, having open containers around a minor, problematic? Like, I guess to clarify on that, right? Like, I mean, if you're a parent and you crack open a Budweiser at home, like, there's nothing against that. What I'm saying is, if you are an adult and you bring alcohol to a place where you know there are minors, and like isn't there the intent behind that too? Right? Am I making sense here? That makes sense. Like, parents, and if they're in their own home, like that's fine. Parents going to another parent's house, that's fine. This is a little bit of a different context.
With students, and claims she didn't remember it, avoids jail time. Since when is that an excuse? Florida teacher accused of having sex with teen several hundred times.
That's
Florida
repeat.
Special education teacher. It's already gross that these women are taking advantage of their powerful position and preying on vulnerable kids. But there's something even grosser about the fact that a few of these teachers have been special education teachers. That's like
I think there's a misconception on that. Just because special ed doesn't necessarily mean that, putting it kindly, that you're a vegetable like people assume, or that there's no skills and stuff. I had to be put in a remedial class because I failed calculus, despite me being well and above where the math point to graduate, and I lost my my last semester of Japanese to go into this remedial class. Yeah, you could have also considered me special ed. As it turns out, not everyone that's there is this. I don't know. You get what I'm trying to say, right? I think that's just a big misconception. That being said, if you do want to see it as, oh, well, if you use this as potential leverage to slap them with an actual sentence, I guess go for it. Like, I mean, God, this has been a wild ride.
even greater power dynamic added. Also, I shouldn't be shocked, but why are there so many Florida cases? Why is Florida the way that it is?
Actually, I think I know the answer to that. Isn't it because Florida has the sunshine laws where stuff like that has to be reported and transparent? I don't think other states have that, or at least not all of the other states have that. So stuff like that can potentially be on the hush-hush. People always ask, well, why is it always Florida? Why is Florida always the news? I'm pretty sure that has to do with the sunshine laws in Florida.
Was his first and only sexual partner, and he believed himself to be in love with her. This is sad. She allegedly gifted the teen with an iPhone, necklace, bracelet, and other items during the relationship.
Bribery.
So there's obviously a pattern here. They bribe these children with like promises of good grades, of Harvard. They give them gifts. Orlando karate teachers sent nude photos to 11-year-old boy in her class. The boy's mother opened his Kick social messaging app on his phone last week and found Figueroa's sick messages to him, according to a police report. "I want to have sex with you," she told him in one message, inviting him to her 21st birthday party.
Ugh.
"Okay, I don't care," the boy replied.
Nice!
Look at this one. Little Miss Twisted. Female teacher, 37, admits to having her 14-year-old pupil's baby. I think I've said this before, but I've been to my own fan meetups. I know what 14-year-old girls and boys are like. Your babies, your fetuses. I will protect you from the pedos. So
For sure, it's fake. Also, trigger discipline, I noticed where the figure was. I don't know, it's fine.
one of the things
funny.
people kind of jokingly bring up often is like, oh, some of these women are so attractive. Why are they going after kids?
Because
They're
they're unstable.
not going after these kids because they're like in love with them or
No.
something. They're going after them because they can. There's a massive power imbalance. That's why the whole like schoolgirl, school teacher thing is such a common role play. So what is the internet's reaction to these stories? Well,
Oh, no. No, and that there is a power imbalance there. Part of it is because they're unstable. Part of it is because they want to be in power. And part of it is because they see him as more vulnerable, as lesser, right? I want to blank with you, right? Kid, I don't really care. If you said that to a narcissist, that narcissist would instantly be gaslit. There is an entire just psychology to this, and it's awful. Like, the fact that this is so widespread, the fact that this is so normalized, and the fact that there isn't really punishments for this is honestly quite depressing.
Oh, exactly what you would expect. Married teacher who gave student 14 oral sex is allowed back into the classroom after avoiding jail.
Why?
We need to track this boy down and give him luckiest boy in America badge.
This is unfortunately the Twitter sentiment. This is why a lot of the time I don't even listen to Twitter anymore. Well, I guess X. We've gotten to past the point of frustration, and now it's just depressing.
She should get a medal for making that boy's decade.
No.
Come the lucky lad comments. If it was a male teacher, people would want him castrated. It's wrong no matter the gender.
Yes.
Always such a breath of fresh air to see normal people on this hell site. Boys and girls, it's different rules, don't be a pussy.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Literally is not.
And now I want to die again. And the problem is, the pedophilia.
I feel like someone's potentially projecting there.
That was one lucky 14-year-old. I hope the 14-year-old is okay. It must have been a traumatic experience.
Yes, it was. I'm glad we can laugh at trauma and PTSD. Person here. I'm glad that you think trauma and PTSD is funny. This is the kind of person that would hear someone in the military talk about their experience on deployment and just like how it like shocked them and how they haven't been able to get sleep after a certain event and be like, man, that's funny though. Wow, what a way to not read the room. What an absolute imbecile.
So everyone's just incredibly horny online, and they project their fantasies onto these cases. You don't understand what it's like to be a teenage boy. Do you think teenage girls aren't hormonal? Do you think teenage girls aren't attracted to older men or teachers? But this ongoing thing of like, the pedophile was hot, so it's okay. God, when I was like 8 years old, all my friends were like super into the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. I thought they were super hot. That doesn't make it okay for the adult to prey on the child.
No, it does
You are
not.
literally making the children can consent argument that creeps like this have made.
I feel that
Just even so, and here's the thing. Let's bring it back to a financial conversation I had, right? If nothing else, the reason that children should never be able to consent is make it about assets, make it about finance. That's how people seem to care, right? You have the whole Kellogg stuff where the CEO comes out and is just like, well, just eat cereal for dinner. And man is getting roasted online, right? Or CEO says something stupid, or Activision Blizzard decides to put Overwatch 2 on Steam, right? And you get reviews that plummet, finances that plummet, stocks that plummet, right? And apparently, if the only thing people care about is money, make it about money. Why should children never be able to consent legally? Bring up, well, you see, if they were able to consent legally, that means that I could have them co-sign all of my loans, and because they are a minor, I mean, how can they be forced to pay that back, right? Well, I guess I just get free money, right? Sometimes it's about tackling a problem, not in the most headlong fashion. It's taking a step back, realizing multiple aspects or all aspects of an argument, and shifting over just slightly, and then jabbing it on home. And then people go, wait a minute, maybe I shouldn't trust the bank I bank with or the credit union I bank with to, have minors sign and co-sign for loan documents and official financial papers. Maybe this is a bad idea.
only at around the age of 4 are children perhaps able to consent to sexual acts. And
No, wait! Whoa!
You know that it's funny to be like, nice, cool, like I'm not dictating that you can't joke, but this kind of attitude is what makes it so easy for these women to get away with shit like this.
Yeah.
That's why all these articles say, had sex, sleeps with. And the only one that didn't word it like that was when the victim was a girl. Because of this attitude, it's rare that these predators ever get caught.
Yes.
It's rare for a young boy to speak out when this is happening to them. There's a lot of, I'm supposed to like this, right? This is cool, right? My friends will think this is cool. I shouldn't say anything because people will think I'm gay or a pussy. Oh shit, she's pregnant. I'm a 13-year-old dad now. I've actually talked to a few male victims, like this one, just on my Twitter alone. I know from personal experience the mental and emotional damage this can cause. To this day, I have extreme difficulty forming any sort of relationship with women.
Yes.
I both fear and crave intimate connection, and it has killed my self-esteem. But I've been seeing therapists for a number of years, and I'm learning to move forward. It's a slow process undoing the damage and not living in the past. I refuse to blame anyone for my issues, but understanding my past helps fix my future. People who abuse children, regardless of gender, are sick in the head and are causing damage that, in many cases, is irreparable. I've attempted 7 times in my life, and I'm positive the destruction of my childhood is the root cause of my suicidal self-loathing.
At the very least, and you could argue that part of a collapse of modern constructs, right, in society, is that we don't let kids be kids. And what I mean by that is, what, at least back in my day, right? I mean, a lot of people played outside. A lot of people ate dirt. A lot of people drank from the water hose. We, walked around, scootered around, biked around, went to school, didn't have to go through metal detectors and stuff like that. And unfortunately, a series of really unfortunate and really messed up events happened, to which now we have to have drills in schools every day. And I'm not unknown to those. I did those at the end of my time, because a certain event, beginning with a C, happened when I was in middle school. So high school, naturally, I had to go through drills and stuff. We're now at the point that the people that have been going through drills, we're having to look at the drills we've already established and rewrite those drills. Imagine you're a kid, you're just going to school, and you have to every single day get checked, get screened in, and then people still come in with stuff. People still come in with paraphernalia. We had somebody come in with a funny little 1940s Germany symbol, the cross one, and in my high school, and I'm pretty sure they got ejected on the spot, suspended if not expelled, and rightly so. Which, kids will be kids, boys will be boys. Look, get that shit out of schools. Come on now. We have teachers for a reason. Nowadays, it almost seems like it's normalized to bring that stuff in. There's a number of TikToks you can watch where somebody just brings a firearm on premises, and the SRO has to deal with it and has to, coax it out. I'm like, okay, where is it? We know you have it, right? And then to situations like this, where you have teachers completely abusing their power. This isn't to say just male students. This isn't just to say, this is just female students have this issue. Male students, non-binary kids, right? They all have issues from teachers, the bad kind of teachers, that abuse their power, and it affects all teachers negatively, and thus leading into the argument, teachers, policing themselves in regards to, if one of this happens, how do you... I actually need to go ask my buddy how their school regulates that now that I think about it, in the event that this were to happen. But that affects negatively on all teachers. And suddenly you have parents that trust teachers less, and it stresses students out even more. And then students have to go to class. Well, is my teacher going to attempt to do this today? When that should never even be a concern. It's almost like we're treating kids, as adults and thrusting adult issues onto them, because some adults are barely even surviving at this point in time. A number of stories that I've had, I had to work because my parents couldn't work, or I had to work to support my parents. I had to sign documents, for my parents, being able to co-sign stuff. Like, number of things that I've heard in my time existing here. Kids not being able to just be kids, to have that opportunity just to play, to be carefree, to be given a chance at getting an education, getting those critical thinking skills, building those, life skills, is having a very real impact on the mental health of kids today. And there are people way more qualified to talk about this than I am, bringing to the point that this is in fact a very big issue.
But yeah, dude, where was she when I was a kid, am I right? Female offenders should be taken just as seriously as male offenders.
Yes.
So that was my TED Talk. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe. Also, if you want, you can donate to my Patreon and get access to my Discord server. I'm actually about to pop in there right now and go voice chat. Be sure to share this video every single time you see some head ass like, where was she when I was a kid? Also, be sure to subscribe to my alternate channel, Brainlit. I have been on there non-stop because of the election.
Do you know who doesn't like to be lectured by powerful women? Male voters.
I don't know about you, but I have seen a large chunk of Tulsi Gabbard's fan base.
I have no clue who this is.
You, those men would love to be lectured by powerful women. Step on me, mommy Tulsi. Punch me in the face. I probably post like 3 videos there a week. And yeah. Bye. Say bye. Ollie says pedos are bad.
Yes. little outside of my comfort zone to start discussing topics like that, especially because, you know, I've gone over it a number of times. The moment I start devolving into politics, the moment I start going into it, the moment that I will lose credibility as someone that, for firearms specifically, just wants to, you know, let's have a discussion. Let's you know, just talk about safety and education. I've gone over this a number of times, so I'll save you that. But this was a video that, while it was an uncomfortable watch in a lot of aspects, is one that unfortunately needs to happen because stuff like this keeps happening. People, adults, refuse to let kids be kids and instead try to project onto them and instead try to force them into doing things that no kid should ever have to deal with. And it truly is abysmal. And a lot of the times justice seems to just not really deal with these offenders. And that's a problem. And so I don't know what you do about this. I think one of the answers is you have to force accountability, but you have to force accountability in a way that doesn't get you a harassment lawsuit or doesn't get you a slander lawsuit, doesn't get you, you know, into legal trouble. I don't know what that is specifically, but stuff like this needs to be signal boosted. Stuff like this needs to be, what do you call it? Stuff like this needs to be just talked about and normalized that this is wrong. You cannot be an adult and do this to children. That is not okay. This is never okay. And take it as somebody that has unfortunately had adults in my life, thankfully none of my family members, but had adults in my life when I was a minor, try to do things, and some of them did do things. I will not elaborate any further. So take this, if you will, as somebody that unfortunately has seen a lot of garbage in humanity and has been in situations that are just emotionally stressful and just emotionally damaging. And this isn't a pity party by any means. What this is to say, just use those critical thinking skills, and it can happen to anybody, unfortunately, and we need to be on top of this. But I digress. What are your thoughts? I don't know how I'm going to have to edit this down, see if I have to edit this down. Yeah, if somebody comes up with those comments, yeah, just send them the original video and how problematic this is, and seeing that it's an entire media thing as well helps rationalize how big of a widespread problem this is. Let me know in the comment section. Please be civil. As always, everyone pretty much, like 1% of comments aren't civil, but literally 99.9% of you are are super pleasurable to deal with. And I do read comments. I don't often respond, unfortunately, because tired. But thank you, everybody, for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I want to do what I can to do what good I can in the world. And hopefully this can stop happening to kids at some point in the future. Hopefully. Thank you. Have a good one.